Mike Hollinger is Director of Product Management at NVIDIA and a self-described geek with a serious inventor streak. He's a former IBM Distinguished Engineer and Master Inventor with a track record of launching breakthrough AI products, including one that pulled in over $35 million across software, hardware, and services. Mike's the kind of guy who still prototypes ideas for fun and makes tech feel human. Mike, welcome to the stand.
Michael, welcome to the stand.
Terrence, how are you?
Great. Having a wonderful MaximoWorld. A lot of great energy going on here.
Absolutely.
A lot of movement going on at MaximoWorld. So how about the same? Back. What's new? What's cool?
It's been so much fun. So we get to talk about how we're leveraging technology to make just work better, to make people's lives more impactful. And AI is so much a part of the conversation. I think last year when I met with y'all, we'd seen large language models in chat just for a few months. It's been less than 2 years, and we already know so many different things from that, and it's just been fun to see how it plays out.
That's really exciting. You know, I'm a big fan of AI overall.
Oh, yeah.
Really love what you're doing. What's it all about, though? What is all this? You know, if you're here at MaximoWorld, you're a maintenance guy, or you're working using Maximo. Where is AI today for that group?
So today, the biggest thing that I'd offer to you is that we're infusing AI into the core of the application stack. We used to think about AI as being an accelerator for what's happening, or frankly, what I've seen it as science experiments, right? Let's see what happens. We now know that we can use the tech to improve workflows in the core of the business logic of the apps and just make people more efficient and make them better at what they're doing. And all that comes back to the data in the system and how you can leverage it.
Yeah, data, right? Well, first, before I ask you about data a little bit, it sounds like the customer doesn't actually have to be an AI expert. They're
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. And that's the best part, right? IBM, as part of building out the stack and pulling together all the different resources into the application suite for Maximo, we now have all of that hard work done. So you just have to give us a little bit of information. You don't have to go from climbing this mountain. You just need to go up this hill a little bit.
I shared with you earlier, you know, we did some research on asset management data, and it can be a pretty challenging picture out there. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. About a 60% overall trust in asset data. You know, if you tried to run your company on 60% financial data, it would not work out well.
No, not at all.
And plus, you know, how does that affect what we have now for AI, what IBM's bringing us now, and in the future? How important is our data governance, our data quality?
So we talk about data and AI models and the output of models. So many people think you need to have a gigantic database. You hear about the ginormous data sets that go into training these models. That's not what's important here. Those are put into foundation models. That's what we bring with IBM's Granite, for example.
And a foundation model is what trains that tool.
Right. That's that base
and how to say
ability,
hello.
right?
Wow.
Exactly,
what
right.
Else do
the
you
generic stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what's important is what's necessary to make it unique to you or to me, right? It's kind of like our DNA, right? Our DNA is mostly the same. A few little differences. And that customization is what really matters here. So take a foundation model that knows how to ask questions or knows how to help with certain basic tasks, right? Email summaries. That's great. But what matters more is if I can help you choose the correct problem code for a work order, right? So to do that, we say we don't need a giant data set. We've already done some of that. Just give us 10 examples, right? Just give us 10, and we'll do all the rest of it. We walk you through the whole process, and we give you transparency into what's happening the entire way.
That's really cool. I like that very much. So you're saying that in essence, like that example on the failure codes, even though they may not have everything, the foundational model is sort of smart enough to figure that out from a very small customer data set.
Exactly.
Is that the case in almost any part of AI?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Like in
We're going to find
Maximo,
out.
the way the Maximo, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So in Maximo, we've built out a bunch of different examples of AI into the application suite. We've been doing this for a long time. And the new techniques we're applying are now leveraging the new AI techniques to take the data we have and make it so much more better.
Now, I saw something in your presentation yesterday that really grabbed me, which was the different types of data we can use to train, to train our unique context.
Right.
And you were talking about time series, and you were talking about visual, and you were talking about text based. Are they all equal? Do we have to worry about one over the other? Is one better than the other?
No, they're all equal, and they all have different value, right? And if you take any one of them by itself, you can get value from it. It's the combination of those that I think is really, that's where you can make the most impact. So take an inspection, right? I can take the output of an inspection, pass-fail data, and look for trends and things like that. That's got some value to a large part of the market. If I combine that, though, with image data, well, okay, why did it fail? How big was this, right? How big was this problem? And we can see that, oh yeah, this is actually growing over time. That's way more interesting because that gives you something that you can go take action on that's a little more than just a couple of lines on a spreadsheet.
What's an average Maximo user have to do to take advantage of this new world?
Well, the biggest thing is upgrade to the application suite.
Because that's where it's all built.
That's where it's all built in. And in having it built in, when you're upgrading to the suite, everything's available in that common data model. It's available as different applications, and we'll layer on top of that the different solutions that are necessary. Once you're there, it's really trying to map how does your business process want to transform or need to transform, right? That's so much important to what we're talking about, because if we're changing technology, and if you buy the idea that we're going to make you more efficient, take 5 steps down to 1 step, right? Then if you're interacting with it, you need to be able to talk through what's going to happen for planners or for schedulers or for those that are going out into the field.
And again, I want to ask, does the Maximo user have to add a new skill set called AI?
No. You need to be aware about AI. You need to have an AI literacy, right? And it's the same thing as if I ask you, hey, do you need to know how to program Microsoft Excel or your favorite spreadsheet? No, you just need to know how to use Excel, right? You need to use a spreadsheet. You need to know the concepts of it. So in the same way, you should be able to start from what you have, look at what's possible, look at the available capabilities that are in the suite, and say, yeah, I could try that here because I already have all these pieces together, or, hey, maybe we need to go get this information from somewhere else, right? Those are the most interesting things, because if the data is in a bunch of different systems, it's all siloed off and it's not giving you any value, right?
You talked yesterday, and we won't mention any company names, but you were sort of discussing the distinctions between the models and the I guess the approaches, maybe you could even say the policies of IBM around AI versus maybe some of the others that are making a lot of noise these days. Do you want to explain that a little bit? Because I think a lot of people don't understand where did it come, what was used to create what we're all interfacing with.
Absolutely. And the first thing is that IBM's AI policy is built around a model of open data, open models, and we do that because we want to help people build trust in every part of the process.
And does that mean they can see it?
Exactly. You can see what we put into it. You can see how we access stuff. You can see what happens if you tinker with certain things, and you can modify it yourself if you want to.
Wow.
It's open source, literally open source. And the big value of that is that you know how it's going to behave because you've seen the data that goes into it. And being able to build on top of those things is especially important. If I have a closed ecosystem, then you can get what's happening inside the box a little bit just based on what someone tells you, but you're just trusting that it's going to work a certain way. You're trusting that the data is going to be taken or not taken in a certain way.
But it's like dessert, I like it. I like the answer that's coming. You
Yeah.
know, so do I have to worry about, what's underneath it? And so what's the worry with these closed models? If you like the first answer that comes and you like the second answer that comes, is that sort of a trap going down that rabbit hole?
Oh, it is. And it's because as those models evolve, because things are evolving all the time, right? This is a rapid space. I've not seen something like this in my career, right? Because things are moving so quickly, the sands are shifting underneath you. So if you do quality checks and you do all the things you do to make sure it's great, 5 months later, you don't know if it's still the same thing that you're running on, right? And further, even if you got an answer that you liked, how did you arrive at that answer, right? The transparency of what got you there, that's not really explained out. And that's so much about the policy that we try to put into how we build products and how people consume the products we're building.
Because at some point, if the answer causes an issue or a problem, the executives are going to ask you about it.
Right.
If you say, I don't really know how they came up with that, that
Yep.
might be a little dicey for some.
Right. That's an idea called explainability.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So that idea of explainability of the model is something that is absolutely part of the core of what we do. When we ship a new capability, we have to go through a whole set of processes that talk through explainability, governance, data access, lifecycle, all these things. And that's what we're taking on as IBM. We're handling all of that in the application suite. We're handling all that in the stuff that we're building so that as practitioners, as partners, as customers, you can go and focus on what you know how to do and what you know how to do best. We'll focus on providing you that trusted platform.
I know you can't tell us secrets, but and I wanted to say to you, you have the toughest job in the world. It's got to be fun, but innovation at IBM, where everybody's innovative, and your job is innovation. I mean, I don't even know how you perform. It's got to be a lot of pressure waking up every morning trying to figure out innovation. But where can you tell us the future? Can you tell us a year from now? Can you tell us 2 years from now? Can you give us at least a general glide path as to what we should be expecting? How our life, the user, is going to be better?
Yeah, there's two kind of trends in this space. One is that we're infusing AI into the heart of the application stack across the entire company. You can see that in Maximo version 9 with our work order intelligence feature. Yeah. And that feature is, I call it a feature, but it's a blueprint. And we're going to follow that blueprint for so many other things through the rest of the ecosystem for EAM, for just predictive maintenance, and you'll see us play that out. The second trend is around new interactions with the system. And you'll hear assistants or orchestration or agents and that kind of thing. That's an evolving space. So I think the terminology is going to evolve with it. But you'll see us create things like an assistant that is an expert in failure mode effect.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
We have that example that we're showing, right? You can kind of expect to see similar ones elsewhere out. Interesting,
for all the different functions. So there's kind of a facilitator built in almost.
That's the idea. In fact, that's one of the best. This is one of the fun things. So these AI models that we're talking about, you can kind of give them personalities if you program it right, and you can tell it, hey, I want you to take the role of so and so. And a lot of the models, in fact, one of the demos we're showing is a system that can figure out how to invoke other things. So if I need to open a work order against this asset, fine, easy to do. But if I want to take a list of all the critical assets that are at a certain score and make a work queue out of that, that's multiple steps. And you can do that today, but by just writing that sentence, the system can help figure that out and work through that for you.
So I understand they got to upgrade to get to this new space. Is there any other advice you have for the Maximo user as to what they should do to get ready for this?
I think start from your data.
Okay.
I mean, the data is absolutely essential, and no one's data is perfect. I mean, that example of 60% matches reality, right? And because it's not perfect, that's not a reason to stop.
Okay.
Not a reason to stop. In fact, I would say that's an opportunity because going forward, we have facilities to help with that. So engage with us and come ask questions. Say, hey, I've got this situation. we'll either help you address it or find a partner, or we'll have a conversation to maybe work around it. And that's honestly the best part about the conference, because someone might think they're stuck, but with a little bit of creativity, we can usually work around it.
Are we going to look back on this, I don't know, 25 years from now or 50 years from now? And is this point in sort of tech going to have a big dot on it and say, this is where the journey started?
I think so. I mean, I feel like if you look at the proliferation of computers, that was one. The internet coming of age, another. Mobile, not as much, to be honest. Like mobile, interesting, but not as much. But this is a fundamental new technology. And I think we're just now seeing a glimpse of what's possible with it. And that's why I'm excited.
Well, the 25-year internet history matches the history of reliability web.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we're embracing the next 25 with an AI-based future. So we really love what you're doing. We're so impressed. We're so impressed with of course, it's got sizzle, but we're very impressed with the functionality that's already built in to help people today.
That's the best thing. I mean, I think that if I can make a piece of software that someone's actually able to get just 2% better, right? That's awesome, because that compounds over time.
Excellent. Well, keep teaching us, keep communicating, and keep on developing. I mean, the development pace at IBM is just breakneck, and it's unbelievable what all that's coming out. I mean, I'm kind of hyper on reliability. I do the same thing. I develop more than the world can possibly consume, but I like that, because then some people like this, some people like this, some people like that, and so I just want to say thank you. It's really, you're making the world very interesting, especially the Maximo world very interesting, and really appreciate an opportunity to talk to you.
Cheers. Thanks, Terrence.
Thanks, Michael.
Sir.
Great.